The Queen of Granada, by M. Riff. Chapter 130, Marisol. An elderly librarian who had tiptoed onto a stool and was placing the books on the top shelf that she could barely reach, glanced down at them and produced a sharp and scolding "shoo" sound, demanding silence. Rita placed her raised index finger in front of her lips and exchanged a look with Nuria to let the girl understand that they had to obey the lady without argument. It seemed perfectly normal for the little girl to invent an invisible grandmother. At her age, Rita had a whole bunch of invisible exotic animals, both crocodiles, rhinos, elephants and other kinds of animals, living under her bed. She protected them against her stepmother, known among the school children as the butcher. In her office she had, not infrequently, killed children's imaginary pets in front of their tearful eyes. On the other hand, Rita could catch a whiff of rosewater from the table. Perhaps Nuria was right, and her grandmother was indeed present. Rita pulled her little finger out of Nuria's firm grip and whispered, "If you stay here with Nara and Espanto, I'll go ask the librarian over there about something." While Rita walked toward the librarian, she turned to see Nuria already seated at the table, conversing with her invisible grandma. Rita soon discovered that the librarian was a schoolgirl her age, Marisol, on a school internship to learn about library operations. Thanks to their decent English skills, they quickly started discussing school and other topics in both Denmark and Spain. Finally, Rita inquired, "Do you know if the library has comic books available for borrowing?" She explained that she had in mind Asterix and Obelix. She was already familiar with the stories and had memorized the text bubbles. Learning their Spanish translations by heart would be a great way to improve her Spanish. Marisol replied, "I'm not sure, actually." She glanced over at another librarian who was further away, rearranging books on the shelf, and said, "I can ask her. She's been working here for ages." Nuria, growing impatient, joined Rita as she waited for Marisol. She tugged on Rita's pinky finger and said, "Nara says they're in the basement." She tugged Rita's little finger and spoke firmly, "Let's all four of us go down there together." Rita glanced at Nuria's other hand, which hung in the air as if an invisible adult were holding it on her other side. Espanto, the black cat, was weaving figure eights around Nuria's pink rubber boots, and was ready to follow them to the basement. Rita briefly looked in Marisol's direction, who was still chatting with an elderly librarian at a distance. Finally, she gave in to Nuria's persistent insistence and walked with others towards the basement stairs. The light was off, and it took a moment for Rita's eyes to adapt to the darkness. They passed by dusty bookshelves, and Rita could again detect the scent of rosewater mingled with the aroma of old books. Finally, they stopped at a bookcase where Espanto was already waiting. Evidently, the cat had no trouble seeing in the dark. Nuria pointed to the bottom shelf and asserted, "Here." Nara said, "They're here." Rita picked up a couple of booklets from the shelf and remarked, "Nara was spot on. These are just like the Danish ones, but with Spanish text."